Okay, first on our agenda is Attorney Sigler. Dan?
Thanks, George. As you know, I handed Jenna, and I got good kudos from her, the Cedar Bridge check today. That was we're promised the balance, which is $3,500 in December. So I think by year's end, that account will be current. I only have other matters today of old business. I spoke with Matt Winger on the phone, and I have an agreement roughed out that he will sign, but I've got to send it to him for review yet, and that probably will be the next meeting when you have that. Same as Wheeler, he and I have spoken. I think we have an understanding on what the agreement is. I just got to bring it in signed to you, and hopefully, again, Wheeler will be the next meeting. So he'll get to see that before he
Thank you.
exits.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
And there's no issues there? Wow,
Now,
great.
there's no issues with signing it. The issue is, the cleanup part, and how that's going to take place. And that's the one caveat I would give to that agreement is I don't know, we don't know, he doesn't know what's going to be imposed upon him. Then can he actually do it? I'm assuming from the core samples we took, it's not serious and it can be done, but that's, what they say about assumptions. So that is the one caveat, but yeah, no, he's agreeable to the terms that were laid out that Tom and the mayor talked about a long time ago, and Tom has said to me a couple times, so yeah. He and I are on the same page.
Will we relinquish really our authority to do that, or should that transfer to the city to be sure that's cleaned up the way they want on that, or what?
Yeah, well,
I got thinking the other day, where's the legal pressure come from the county or the city due to the fact that property is in the city?
yeah, it's going to be a contingent agreement or a contingent provision within the agreement that flows both to the county and to the city. So we're going to definitely, I'm tying the city into it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That's all I have, George.
Okay. Did you have anything for Dan?
No.
The Terrence McKinney thing is
Done.
That's done,
Yeah, we won summary judgment in that.
correct.
Yeah.
That's done.
Yeah, so that's,
but I was thinking he had like a 30-day appeal.
He
time.
does.
24 days.
Yep.
not that you would know
He's not-
exactly,
Not
but
that he's counting it.
yeah, my guess would be, I better not guess, I guess, but I don't think it's likely there'll be an appeal, let me put it
Okay.
that way.
Okay,
But, who knows?
okay.
He appealed the last
Good.
thing, so,
Glad that's done.
okay.
Nothing else from me?
Okay.
Good luck tomorrow,
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
Oh, good luck
yeah.
Wednesday.
Before you leave, Dan, let's get Cindy up here. Cindy,
Oh, yeah.
you got the
Okay.
contract for Purdue?
Oh,
What's he got? What kind of,
Cindy, if you could sit and talk in the microphone over here.
what's he got?
Trial,
Thank you. Yes.
Involving us?
no,
Oh, okay, okay,
in front of a judge, he's got.
okay.
Well, let me give you a copy first. Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Howdy.
Thank you.
And I have the original for the signature. Each year, Purdue Extension enters into a contract with each county in order to provide extension educators. And so I'm just needing a signature verifying that for this year. County Council has already approved the money. This would be for 2017.
What was it this year?
The amount, less 1%. It was just a 1% increase. And this is for 2.5 extension educators.
So this is just for the educators,
Correct,
nothing more?
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to go.
Mr. Attorney, do you see any?
I do see no problems with that. I think we approved the exact same form last year, different year on it.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been this way for
I
about.
know, me personally, this is not what I was thinking it was, so I would make a motion that we approve the,
Second?
Got a motion and we've got a second. Any further discussions?
The chairman, second.
yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's a different name now. Sorry, it's on the check, it's right here, so just keep a copy of that or something.
I thought this was the original.
Okay.
When do we get to see anything on the line where the county's charging them for rent?
Say that again.
Does the county, either commissioners or council, have any say, or when does the contract come through for the rent on the building?
We have nothing to do with that.
Who does?
It's a county-owned building.
Yeah,
I
don't they pay rent for it?
The extension office? Oh, no, no.
That's free?
State statute says that the county must provide it.
Really? Okay, guess that answers my question. I thought always there was a rent or a stipend pen before the building or something. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
George,
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is Sheriff Gatton, Merit Deputies PTO time.
I have a couple more things, so I would request to defer to the end.
That's not a problem. Amy Biggs, Radio Inventory and Programming.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Afternoon.
Pass this out so we can follow along with it.
This is the same inventory that we've been looking for.
This is indeed.
Thank you.
And there's the record. Okay, as you're all aware, we've been having an ongoing inventory search of a number of different items. Specifically, this one was of time concern because the state is going online with an upgrade that's affecting every county in the state of Indiana. They're moved from the lower part of the state, and then now they're in the midsection of the state near the capital. Projections for moving to our area in northeast Indiana is going to be before the end of the year. So as a result of that upgrade that they are conducting, it was extremely important that we validate every radio that was being used in the county that deals with 800 megahertz. So what you have in front of you is an overview, and I'd like to go line item by line item down here for you.
Thank you.
We've been able to account for 293 radios amongst 31 departments. Of those radios total, we have identified that 17 have been reported missing, and 2 of them have been reported stolen, again, from 13 departments overall. The ones that are labeled as missing were ranging from the coroner's office to the sheriff's department to some of the county fire departments, where they've been not able to identify where their inventory is. They're ultimately responsible for that. Now, moving on to the P25 ready. That is the requirements the state is mandating that every radio that's 800 megahertz become compliant to. We have roughly 146 radios that we can validate are P25 ready that will incur no additional cost from the vendor to make the programming accessible once it goes online. And that's from 21 departments. Remaining radios, we have approximately 128 radios that do not have that programming in it and will require an upgrade. The majority of those radios are coming from E.F. Johnson, which our provider is J&K Communications. I've been in negotiation with J&K over the course of the last several months, myself and Janelle, looking at the opportunities to minimize the impact that this is going to have on the county as a whole, and then individually for the townships, because that's a large investment that they're going to have. The original estimate that I received from Ted Hurley was $23,000. In working with them to identify the inventories, which their inventory was not accurate over the entire course of this search, their records were unreliable. So we've had to basically go back and do physical inventory, serial numbers on every individual radio, and go through that process. As a result of that, I guess, tedious search on that, we were able to negotiate with J&K, specifically Adam Hurley and Paul Patterson are agreeing to come out and upgrade the radios, the 128 of them, that are not compliant at this time, free labor cost, free install cost, but they have to pay a programming fee to E.F. Johnson
Yeah.
in the amount of $160 per radio. Now, these numbers, and I say approximate when I give you these numbers because, again, looking at their records and looking what we've been able to validate, there could be plus or minus in any one of these figures, because until they physically put the hands on the radio, plug it into a computer program through the process, we won't know for sure if that radio has been upgraded. So we're looking at nearly about $12,000 total amongst all departments. We're working through the breakdowns right now to identify how many radios per department and at what cost that is going to be an impact to them. I've spoken with the Fire Chiefs Association, I've spoken with all the law enforcement, the Sheriff's Department, South Whitley PD, and Busco were all present during a meeting with Adam Hurley to receive this information as well. They understand that there's probably going to be an impact to their individual budgets and something that they're going to have to go back to their entities to do. Originally, Ted proposed that the cost of this come through the county general fund, and I said that I didn't believe that that was probably where it was going to come, but we needed to kind of get our numbers more whittled down to know what we were working with. And there's still, like I said, could be variables in these amounts. Part of the contract with the Sheriff's Department that we were able to finally receive from J&K Communications does indicate that the upgrades for their newer equipment should be all-inclusive. However, a caveat to that is they said they could not validate the equipment that was in dispatch. So there's still some controversy in regards to whether that will be included or not included. So wanted to bring you up to speed on that. We're still continuing to work through
That
that.
part of that contract?
That was our belief, yes. They have a difference of opinion on that. So we're trying to work through the details to determine exactly how that could be impacted. So,
Is that something Dan needs to review?
well, I believe we're probably going to need to take a look at that contract if it comes down to
Yeah.
that component. Now, there's not that much equipment, but the equipment that we do have, we want to make sure, because it is the backbone. Without the backbone equipment
yeah,
in
no,
dispatch,
yeah.
it doesn't matter whether the individual radio
We don't
is
have to do any other
capable
radio
or
if we
not.
don't do that one. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I got it, yeah.
So, that's the process that we're working through right now. And then the last item on here is really inconsequential, but there's 7 radios that we have in the county, 2 from the Columbia City Police Department and 5 from South Whitley PD that will not be part of the programming at all. They've actually decided that they're not going to upgrade those radios, and that's their choice with those particular radios. So those are not factored into the overall cost. And through this inventory analysis that we've done, we actually have to reassign about 15 radios. So that basically means there could have been radios that were in the Sheriff's Department that are now in EMA or in some other facet. But the whole purpose of this inventory, one, for our own knowledge and awareness of what we have, what we're responsible for according to the state, and then two, to make sure that it's aligned with the individual departments in the way and the manner it's supposed to be, and that it's upgradable to the standpoint that it needs to be as well. So, there are some radios in the county that fall under another provider. They're Motorola radios. Those radios are serviced by a company called ERS, and their agreement to do upgrading is a little bit different. They actually do the flash programming for free, and they only charge $50 a radio. So there's a pretty significant difference when you're looking at vendors, you're looking at equipment. And had Adam and Paul Patterson not stepped forward to agree to give their own labor and time in doing the programming, the number would have been close to the $23,000. So we've whittled that down considerably to the cost of the individual departments.
Amy, are they giving us their cost on that?
That's what I'm being advised, yes. It's a program that they have to run, and that is exclusive, is proprietary. They will not sell it to any other entity. Whereas a comparison, just for your reference, Motorola will actually, if you buy that package and you attend the training through the state, they will allow you to do the installs yourself. So there's, a little bit varying difference there. The primary departments that are affected by ERS are the coroner's office. They're exclusive to have Motorola, Union Township, Jefferson Township Fire Department, and then South Whitley PD has that. And then Columbia City, that's the majority of their equipment. But they have a technician, Matt Manier, that's able to conduct all of their programming at no cost to them. So that is not included in the scope of this project here. This is only county entities, so. So I don't know, moving forward, I wanted to make you aware of, again, the inventory and the possibility that there may be departments coming forward that had not anticipated a budgetary infusion of this nature in there. Just to give you an idea, so far as the totals of coming in, it will cost EMA roughly $2,000. Community Corrections is only $160. Whitley County Sheriff's Department is over $3,000. The dispatch is still to be determined, but right now we have an estimate of $640, but that does not include the dispatch equipment. Churubusco PD would be $640. Some of the county departments, Cleveland Township, be looking at close to $800. So I have them broken down at this point, trying to narrow that field with the records that we've been able to obtain, the records we've obtained from J&K. But that's been a pretty frustrating process.
Yes, and I really appreciate all you've done for this, because it was just, seemed insurmountable in the
Yeah.
beginning. How did the township fire departments do with regard to finding their equipment and
They did
reporting them?
fairly well. This equipment, as I indicated, is a 800 megahertz radio.
Yeah,
The county primarily operates on VHF radio.
right.
So this is not equipment that they use on a routine basis. So it probably, in most circumstances, was over in a corner, most often not charged, not ready and available to be deployed. But they were able to at least identify some of those pieces. The ones that are labeled as missing or stolen, we imagine that those will resurface once the transitional radio change happens, because that individual that has that radio at that point in time will no longer be able to receive or transmit any information. They'll probably say, hey, my radio doesn't work. So we'll probably
Okay.
end up accounting for some of the equipment that's labeled now as missing or stolen, just because somebody will turn it back in. We hope that they'll turn it back in and they just won't dispose of it in the trash. So, because it is, most of these radios are anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 a piece. So we're hopeful
Okay.
that they'll resurface in some way, shape, or form.
Mr. Councilman, can I ask you a quick question? How do you think the council if we had to come up with some money for county radios, do you think the council would be okay with one amount for all departments, or do you think the council would prefer every department be held as accountable for them? I know, I'm putting you on, you get
No, I don't.
6 other
I think
people.
it ought to be one amount. You know, and you take, and we're not sure what it is, you know, she
Okay.
went through this, but with the township fire department's got some, and it
Yeah.
does not, and so.
Yeah.
Until we can get a firm amount, and you really won't know a firm amount until they get the radios in hand to do it.
Until they're able to go to each location.
As I understand it,
Yeah.
we're just working on best guess, best guess estimates, right, at this time. You're close.
Pretty close. The amounts per radio could vary because they could go to programmer radio, and that radio actually have the programming, and they didn't realize it because their records were inaccurate. And then they would be able to forego that particular one. So there are some variables in there, yes.
You know, and the question, so I'm not hiding nothing, the question I asked Janelle, are we sure all those that you mentioned, 120 some, are gonna be workable when you get them back?
We hope so. It's, the radio system it seems to be a very volatile issue at any given time. I know that they had some radio difficulties recently over the weekend, and it seems to be a continuance. And I know it's technology, and with technology you have issues. But there's 2 pieces here that I've been waiting for over 30 days, probably. Just a verification of the radio where they being J&K, need to provide us with the information so that we can move on to the next stage. And we had set some ultimatums of we need it by a dead drop date, this date. They failed to supply it. A week goes by, reminders, calls, in-person contact, we're going to get there. So it's been frustrating when it is such an important project, not only for our county, but to the state. This is a significant issue when you're talking about safety of your responders on scene, and getting this information is critical.
Who's in possession of all these radios? Are you, or? is
No,
that-
they are spread out amongst all of the departments, sir.
Like volunteer fire department?
That's correct,
Police
yes.
department?
Correct.
Thank you. Now, are you saying the county should pay for all those?
No.
No.
Well, she had the fire departments, and I know Donna know, but the only one I am aware of, they're able to pay for their.
Yeah, and maybe I misspoke. What I meant when I was asking Tom was county, the ones that are charged to the county. I think township fire departments should pay for their own. I think the town police department should pay for their own. I was just asking
Okay.
from the perspective of any radio that's charged to the county, the sheriff, the EMA, so.
Yeah, I
That's the
agree
only
with
one I
that.
think
I
that we
agree
should do.
with that. I
And
thought-
that, if the total's 12,000, then that amount's gonna be less than $12,000.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, and it could
Okay.
be less than 10, because I know most of the fire departments, they got some money to pay for these, because it's not a huge amount.
no, it didn't sound like it.
No.
I'm
No,
shocked.
didn't sound like it. I could only speak for Smith, but I'm pretty sure they'd pay their fair share, so.
Yes.
Amy, do the commissioners need to get involved with this with J&K?
I think it would be good review, at least from the contract perspective, to make sure that we are, that the vendor is providing the service that's required under that. So I think that would be a valuable step to sit down and discuss. Like I said, we've been trying to negotiate and discuss the situation, and we have whittled that number down, but I want to make sure there's no discrepancies or no issues taken with that, so that they're culpable for the information they're supposed to.
I appreciate your efforts on it. That's what we
Thank you.
asked for, and I think you've done an excellent job working with the people, so.
What are you gonna do with all your free time now?
The next project,
Yeah, yeah, you got projects, I know.
George, I got a question for Amy.
Sure.
Well, this number of these 800, was that part of that original grant that we got 10 or so years ago that these radios were at very little cost to the county? Did all them radios come at that time?
Several of them did, but not all of them. There was opportunities.
It was part of the 911.
Yeah, yeah, when the state was switching radio systems, or when they were really enhancing the radio system, they offered more grant opportunities for radios. Some of the models that we have are older models, so they were probably purchased in around the 2008, 2010 era of those. Some of the equipment that the sheriffs have and that the county or the township police departments have are a little bit newer equipment, so those were purchased independently of the grant money that was there. But they were purchased nonetheless to have interoperability, is what they call it, with the radio system.
And what's scary is the longevity, what do we have, 6 to 8 years, and we're told all these radios will be obsolete.
Mark, have you got duplex radios right now, or,
The dual band,
yeah. So does that have to be upgraded also?
Yes, but that was, per some correspondence that I have from J&K, those radios are already capable of receiving the upgrade. The phase that we were working on recently was evaluating a template, which is basically how you want your radio channels designed in your radio, which again is typically a fee that, in this particular instance, J&K waived, about $450 fee. To work through that. So they still have to physically touch the radios to put the new programmable upgraded template and digital software in there, but they are capable of being upgraded, so.
Is there anyone else in the county that works on these radios or anything, or is J&K? I know we do a lot of business through them and
Yeah.
things, but
Yeah, this is exclusive to J&K Communications. They have primarily the state of Indiana as the primary vendor for the equipment that we've purchased.
okay.
Unfortunately, it's either them or ERS. ERS handles the Motorola.
Yeah.
Correct. We are limited with vendors. There is more flexibility. There's cost differences that you could run an analysis and determine short investment, long-term investment, quality of equipment. But we really kind of, if I understand correctly, narrowed our options when we went this direction, so.
Okay.
If I can briefly just update you on one other project that I'm working on,
Sure.
and that is the grant for the closed caption television for the government center and for the courthouse. Mark Sturdivant has provided me with the information that I needed for the grant. I'm still waiting on assistance from Ron Glassley and from Dan Wegold in regards to completing this. This does have a deadline of November 30th. It must be submitted. So I've reached out to both those individuals to try to set up a time frame. Basically, what it will require, so you have a complete understanding, is we provided a layout of where we wanted the cameras that was provided us by the vendor in this particular project, but we have to physically take photographs, if it's going to be in the corner of that particular piece, and put it into our system, which is why Dan was involved from the GIS perspective. That is a module that is available to be done, and I figured he had the expertise to be able to do that. So that's why I was reaching out between him and Ron, because they knew specifically where the equipment was going to go to get that. So I did reach out last week and trying to make contacts, but wanted you to know the status of that particular project, so.
Thank
Do you
you.
believe Dan's here today? Because it's his birthday, if I heard right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, there's quite a bit
I don't
of
know.
food up there.
so I would encourage you maybe to see him
Okay.
and tell him after talking with the commissioners that we'd kind of like to get rolling on this.
Okay, very good.
So,
Are there any
Mark-
other questions?
Mark is going in probably for surgery too.
Yeah, his portion of it is complete, so I.
It's done?
Yes.
he's done, yeah. Yeah.
He
Okay.
got back to me
Sheriff, are
very
you in
quickly.
charge of Ron? I mean, is that how it works? I don't know. Could you encourage him to get a hold of Amy and get moving on that one? Thank you. Appreciate it.
It'll be a cost savings of over $7,000.
Wow.
That it's a 100% covered grant for that
Great.
particular product, so.
Well, then
Thank you.
it just provides us more safety and security. I mean, that's, if nothing else, that's a great thing to,
Well, we've done
To know.
nothing for the security upstairs when they come here and asked us for 3 months ago for something. We haven't done anything, so
yeah.
this might be a,
Yeah, well, we just didn't know, we knew this grant was coming, we didn't know when, so, well, I mean, the grant opening, we don't have, we're not assured of having the grant, right? We just.
If we turn this equipment in, or turn in our
Okay.
follow-up,
Oh,
it's
okay, we are, okay.
pretty much
okay,
assured our
okay, okay,
money.
Good, good, okay. Okay,
Any other questions about any other subjects, sir?
meeting tomorrow,
Correct, 3 PM?
3 o'clock.
In our normal conference room.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, likewise, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Everybody be safe.
Brandon Forrester. Highway Department.
Between our new PTO policy and our new time management system, we are changing the hours at the highway department.
Here's a copy.
And so Pam and I had talked about, in the policy manual, it states specific hours. And as this year and past, we went to summer hours. And so I guess we discussed options to not put specific hours in the policy manual or to remove the hours that are there, or to change the hours to 7 to 3, to go with the 7.5 hours that every other office works. We could say 7 to 3 or, 6 to 4 is what we did this year during the summer. I mean, I'm, like I did this summer, I let you know we were gonna go to summer hours. I mean, myself, I'd just as soon take the specific times out and I'll talk to you. I mean, December 18th, we're gonna go to 7 to 3, or that's the plan. Because that's the first date that wages come out of next year's budget.
That was the 18th?
12/18.
December 18th, correct.
So what are we looking at?
That's the current policy right now.
Oh, that's, okay,
Yep.
okay.
And I think what he's requesting is either it's totally removed or we change it from 7 to 3 to reflect the 7.5 hour day. Right now it's the 7 to 3:30.
Okay, so 7 to 3 is 8 hours, and they get half an hour for lunch
Yeah.
and no breaks.
Well,
2 paid minute, 2 15-minute paid breaks.
yeah, everyone gets a
Everyone gets that.
15-minute break,
Yeah.
or they're entitled to it. Hardly anyone.
No, yeah, no,
actually
yeah,
takes it,
yeah.
but-
Yeah, I doubt if it's, I imagine it seldom actually happens, but, yeah, okay.
We go to something like hours to be approved by commissioners.
That would be fine. I'd be fine with that. Like I say, I'm gonna come to you anyways.
So that way, when you want to go to summer hours, you just come to us and say, okay,
That's fine.
hours as approved by the commissioners. Does that sound reasonable for a policy?
Yeah, I mean, you could still put the 7 to 3 and keep all this verbiage in here and then just add a very simple sentence that says hours can be determined by the commissioners. Specific hours can be determined, or hours vary based on commissioner approval. Something as simple as that.
But what we'd actually change would be the start-stop, not the length of time. So it'd be, the amount of hours would be the same. No, not necessarily, is it? Because if we go to summer hours, it's longer hours.
Longer hours
If
and-
we go to summer hours, it would, yeah, we'd split it up into 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, all right, all right. I'm good with whatever, I think. Does this have effect on payroll? Is this gonna be easier, harder, no change, makes no difference?
Time management purposes, yeah.
For my portion of it, I just need to know one way or the other to make sure it's correct in the salary ordinance, which I'm presenting on
So
first
are
meeting.
you saying then you have to have hours? You have to have a start and stop time?
Well, just 7.5 or 8.
Oh,
for me.
total
hours.
Total
yeah,
hours, total
I got
hours,
you.
yeah.
I got you, okay, all right, okay. I got you.
Just have to personnel policy and the handbook personnel committee look at this.
Not anything based on wages.
What?
It's not anything based on wages.
That isn't wages or benefits.
Or benefits, it's just hours.
So it's just totally commissioner.
But you're changing hours of employees. Some other department comes in here and wants summer hours, and then who approves it or who at least knows about it? You know, several weeks ago, I suggested, and listen, Tommy, to me, the personnel committee almost needs abandoned. The decisions that have been made have bypassed the personnel committee, whether there's a need for it or not, but I won't be late. I think this is something down the road that needs looked at by the county. And if, just like this, it says personnel policies in the handbook. If you have a personnel committee, a salary committee, an insurance committee, and you bypass them and do what you want, it gives a feeling, why should we go to the meeting? Why should we do this? And to me, this is a change of some personnel hours, and probably should have the blessing of, but now, you guys do what you want, but I'm just looking as an outsider and a new man on the block sitting right back there. But if you want to pass it today, that's fine with me. I will not vote on it because this will take effect, I guess, January 1st.
December
I
18th.
can tell you that as a member of the Personnel Committee, Brandon sits on that committee as well. And when we were discussing and doing those changes with the PTO policy, that was already included in the discussions with the PTO policy and approved that the hours would be changed for the highway.
Absolutely, that was discussed at the personnel committee level. Because the highway department was the only department that was based on 8 hours. And so, yeah, it was discussed when we were going through the PTO policy change. It's just, I'm just asking, because it's the rubber's hitting the road on December 18th, and so we're gonna go from 8 to 7.5, or at least I thought we were, and so, I mean.
That's okay. I dropped my point. Go ahead. I have no problem with it.
And I do remember when we were discussing the PTO that we discussed the hours.
I make a motion that we make the change, however, with the caveat that's brought to the commissioners. How was that worded again? I'm sorry.
Subject to the commissioners?
Subject to commissioner
Sub-
approval.
Subject to commissioner approval.
So change it to 7 to 3 and
7
then
to
add
3
that
is-
subject to commissioner approval.
Subject to commissioner approval.
And in that motion, can you make sure that you have effective December 18th?
Effective December 18th,
Thank you.
0700 hours.
Is that okay?
It's fine with me, yeah.
Thank you.
I made a motion.
Got a motion, got a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Thank you.
Okay, I shared with Jana, request to reappoint Mike Schrader to the Drainage Board for next year. I figured whenever you get to board appointments, but I just want to bring it to your attention that is in Janice's possession. At your next meeting, this is just a heads up, there is a petition to vacate a portion of a roadway at subdivision out at Crooked Lake, Forest Park Addition in Crooked Lake. That's on the west side. It's an old unimproved roadway, so just heads up, they'll be here at your next meeting. Mobility is a company that has proposed to put up large steel towers in the road right away, and they have another request. They're gonna modify a previous request, and their plan is to come to you at your December 19th meeting to talk about those requests. So, if anyone has any questions now or between now and then,
Is there any chance, and this would be for Dan, I suppose, is there any chance that we can simply have an ordinance disallowing poles within the right of way? And then
say
they
there's
don't
a
need to
chance.
come, they don't need to come.
There are other agencies have ordinances. Nathan has found a couple of those, and I've glanced at them.
Yeah.
We could, it was my intention to talk to Nathan again. I just got this latest request like last Friday, so.
Would you mind bringing back to our next meeting, something along that line that we could look at and see if we could just, I mean, because it's gonna be every meeting, that they're gonna come with a different location, and if we don't want them, then let's have an ordinance say we don't. If we want them, then let's open it up and let them do it. But I feel it's very dangerous to do that.
Before the next meeting, make sure that you get us all the information that you can.
Okay, yep. Okay, yep, I'll do that. I believe on Wednesday, we're gonna have to follow up on the last meeting, meet with Amy Biggs, and she had sent out invitations. Hopefully, the others can meet to talk about winter operations. Just so you know, we're working on that. We did get a couple flurries this weekend, but
Yeah.
nothing of significance in our county.
I had an opportunity to speak with Mike Sands at a basketball game, and he was tickled to death that,
Yep.
he's just tickled that we're interested in helping him, So, yeah, that's good move, and great. I appreciate you having the meeting.
Well, and yeah, and I appreciate Amy's zeal. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I just had to mention it to her, and she was, boom, setting up a meeting, and so, she's great.
Don't say it
And
if
you
you don't
know
want it to
that.
happen, right?
I'll say finally, we had, it was kind of strange. We had 4 incidents in about 2 weeks where farmers come out of there, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but they come driving out of their fields and across our roads and tore up our roads. So we sent out 4 bills for road repair, and so far 3 of the 4 have paid their, from $200 to $400 bill for road repair. But I mean, it is a principle and it is about the money, but I'm more hopeful that the word gets out. Guys a little more cognizant of where their equipment is and that they don't tear the roads up, so.
Now, I'm not advocating we do anything when I tell you this story. Not advocating at all, okay? But I have several friends who are farmers in Minnesota.
Okay.
You pull out on a road and drop a chunk of dirt, you better get that dirt picked up. They're adamant about it. The guy was telling me that one farm, now these are pretty big farms, okay? They bought one of those orange sweepers, just to have to, and they literally go behind each other and
Well, and
clean
that-
everything off. I am not advocating we do that, I'm just telling you, if it ever becomes an issue, there has been precedence.
It gets to be an enforcement issue, and
Sure. Who did it, right?
I'm sure this year is not the first time that this kind of thing has happened. It's just for whatever reason, either we had somebody witness it, or, the guys just, the damage was bad enough that they felt the need, and good for them, to call somebody because
That
it
is
could have been a
good.
safety issue.
That is nice of them.
And, we weren't trying to fund the highway department.
No.
But we did have some time and material in it, and so, but the first incident, farmers in the neighborhood were dropping mud on the road, and then it rained, and we were out there trying to clean that
Yeah.
up as best we
Well,
could.
it becomes very
you know.
slippery. I mean, it's a real traffic hazard.
It can be, absolutely.
Yep. Well, I think we were fairly lucky. We had a fairly dry fall, so it wasn't, it could have been a whole lot worse.
A lot, definitely.
A lot worse.
Finally, next meeting will, December 5th, 10:30, we'll open bids. And then, I'll go through them and come back on the 19th. Any,
Well, I'll freely admit, 'cause I had a PT appointment at 9 o'clock this morning, and so I went back home and I got changed, and I'm walking in, I thought, oh geez, I hope that bid opening wasn't this morning, because I completely, you're saying it's on the 5th at 10:30?
that's your first meeting is
Yeah.
Monday the 5th.
Yeah,
Yep.
Monday the 5th?
Yep.
Thank you.
I always thought it was always 1st and 3rd of December. Last year, I think it might have been earlier, I don't know, but it's always been first meeting in December. And then we
Yeah.
come back and award on the
Well, that's because you'll come back the second meeting then with your determination.
recommendations.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's the way it's usually works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yep, you bet, thank you. Any questions, comments?
I just had the snow meeting down, that's it. Thank
Okay.
you for dealing with that.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Sheriff. Did you want me to get Vicki out of here?
Now, is that this too, or is that this too, or is this different?
No, I
I've already got
think he's got
it.
something different.
Okay.
Sorry.
I had some other things come up. One, I'll start with the easiest I see. Our new deputy is gonna start. Jason, help me out. What date's AJ starting? November 28th, requesting that AJ, you guys allow AJ to be on the stipend program as of December 1st for the cell phone.
We deal with that? I can't remember.
Yeah, well, we've been making, we
Yes.
just made a motion.
Make a motion that we
Yeah.
allow the new deputy to be on the cell phone stipend.
motion?
Effective December 1.
Second.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Thank you.
Back to December 1, right, you said? December 1?
November 28th.
December 1, okay.
Yeah.
Second is the PTO for the deputies. The deputies are held under the Sheriff's Merit Board under state statute. This is, what I'm giving you, the first piece is the old vacation schedule that everybody that is hired at this point was given when they were hired on. What I'm giving you next is a proposed, since the county switched over to PTO time, I've adjusted the years of service to the PTO time in line with the way the county's
Oh, okay.
giving it for, I'm trying to help me out, man. When we broke it up, it was broke up to hours and they used,
Yeah, it was broken up by vacation, sick, and
Sick,
personal.
okay.
So you're just combining
I'm
those.
just combining the
Yeah.
hours of that, the guys that are already working, that were hired before what my request is. Anybody that's hired after January 1st, 2017 will follow Whitley County Government Policy 4.0 for PTO earned.
Oh, okay.
It won't affect, most likely it won't affect any of us in this room because anybody we hire now before they get to 20 years, I'm assuming most of us are gonna be, unless Vicky's still gonna be working up there. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is the increased PTO time and 8 years as chief deputy and dealing with Vicky, being on a different schedule, there were times it was tougher. Was it not, Vicky, or am I? Okay. So what I'm requesting, since you guys control the PTO vacation, that you would approve this, and I will write it into the merit board rules for the change. Because right now, you guys have the old one, the way it's written, is it's still under the earned sick
Right.
days a year.
So moved, be approved.
Got a motion?
A second.
Got a second? Any further discussions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the same.
And the last is it was approved on 7/17 of '06. It was called a vacation buyout amendment. I don't know if you guys need to do anything with this under the new PTO structure, the way it's written. This will no longer be available for any of the employees. So I didn't know if you guys needed to abolish that or whether it's just something that it will slide away and we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I would guess if we're not gonna do it, we have to undo it, because it is done by the commissioners,
So
7/17
this
of
will follow the
06.
separation agreement with the PTO policy then? Okay, yeah, I would abolish that one.
So we have a vehicle that takes care of this, though,
Correct. Yeah,
right?
under the separation policy for the new PTO structure, it's a maximum of 150 hours.
So if I were to make a motion, I just would make a motion that we rescind vacation policy amendment dated 7/17 of '06.
Second.
Got a motion, and we got a second. Any further discussions?
Oh, Victor,
Yes.
The buyout policy actually wasn't for termination, it was as employees were working, if they didn't have enough time to take their vacation, they would be paid for it, where the rest of the county employees were not able to do that, but 4 and 2,
yeah, only 4 and 2 scheduled.
because they didn't have time to take it.
But that'll be completely
be
different now.
termination then,
Yeah, with the new
It'll
PTO,
be
it's not gonna
completely
be an
different.
eligible option.
No, it won't be an
for us.
option at that point.
Right.
So we still would have to
Still have to rescind it then.
rescind it, yeah. Okay.
My motion stands.
Okay, motion second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same.
And the last thing I'd like to just put a piece of food, a bug in your ear. Under state statute about abandoned vehicles, plus the county has an abandoned vehicle law. We're having some calls come in. Some of it is, I'll be honest, disgruntled neighbors, but Chirubusco, for one, towed a bunch of vehicles earlier this year under the state statute with the authority of their attorney. I've had some calls come in, I've done what research I can. I'm reaching out to Dan under the county ordinance. When I get a legitimate complaint, I've been sending the guys up and doing what the statute requires to inspect the vehicles, see if they're in running or operable condition. They have 20 days under the county ordinance to have them removed from public view. I have a citizen I don't believe is going to comply with any of that, so I just want to put a bug in your ear in case I come back on the county ordinance on which way you guys
Mark,
want to
have
go.
you sat down and talked to Scott Wagner about this?
Yeah, I talked to Scott briefly on,
Because that's been handled by Scott. You know like the AMCs that sit at the end of Harold Road?
Yes.
Okay, Scott dealt with that and he can, under junk and trash, non-running, non-licensed.
which is the county ordinance, correct, yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure you keep him in the loop because he has very effective powers
Okay.
under junk and trash.
Well, I just want to put the bug in case it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. The state statute gives the sheriff's department the authority to tow them, but if I would start that, then of course it could come back to you guys when somebody files a lawsuit,
Right.
so.
Understand, but if you're doing it per the ordinance, you're doing it lawfully.
I understand, I just
Well, I
want you
mean,
guys to know,
when-
I'm not going out, we're not going out actively looking for
I
them. It's when
understand.
people
I understand.
call in a legitimate
I understand.
complaint that I'm bound under the law to follow, so.
Yeah, I just always felt like certainly the junk and trash ordinance, I just felt was reasonable. It stated, if it's not currently licensed, you're probably not driving it. And if it's not operable, and it has to be operable, and if it's sitting there and it won't start, you're in violation, and it's pretty easy. I mean, it's just pure violation. So you do, under those things, you're just doing your job. I'll take the call. I don't care.
All righty,
I don't mind.
thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, let's get Vicky out of here if we could.
That's pretty gruel.
She's got work to do. Jana tells me she's got work to do, so.
You can sit there.
Right on up there, man.
Get right on the speakerphone.
The reason we have Vicky here is we've got an issue with our insurance. We're a little bit short on the insurance for this year as budgeted. And we've talked to the insurance company, and they're willing to delay payment on the insurance. So we wanted to make sure that all the commissioners were aware of that. And did you have issues with that then, Vicki, that we had to deal with?
I just need to know specifically how we're going to handle it. When we get the billing, it's going to have many different locations on. We actually do have a couple of these locations that have the money to pay their entire portion. I need to know, since they have the money, we won't include them in these special arrangements,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then I need to know, Highway Department is already in the red on their insurance. So that means they have no money to pay the December billing that comes at all.
And we wanted to use the existing trust fund at this point. That's like 27,000 right now.
$27,474.44.
So we're using out of the trust
Out
to
of
pay
the
the
trust
highway.
fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the trust is 185.
184.
Are you, everybody okay with that then?
All right.
Okay. And then the third thing, if I understood correctly, was the January billing that we normally would pay at the end of December is going to hold over until 2017 to be,
Right, and the
for a check
insurance-
to be
It
written.
will,
Yeah,
yeah.
insurance company has approved that.
Yep, it will be generated late anyway. I talked to Brenda at Unified because of the end of the year. Yeah, so.
Okay, so then the county's portion, and
We could come up with that there too.
I guess it would just be the
Well,
county's
that's
portion then.
With the health though, so that
We
might
are
be
on,
accurate.
for December charges, we are only paying the amount minus claims, or,
Correct, just the administrative fee, less the claims. And I do have the December billing here. I just got it yesterday, or Friday. So I will share that with you, yes. Jana and I did have a number, but in hearing this, the health department, we didn't take that off because obviously they're probably going to be able to
yeah,
pay.
they have enough money to pay.
Was there any other departments?
The prosecutor incentive has enough to pay that December billing.
Okay, so prosecutor, health, what about community corrections?
Community corrections, yes, they have enough. Those are the only three.
remove those.
The probation, community corrections grant, it's under, I mean, it's already read, but I don't know without checking, maybe Jana can check with them on that to see if they are able to move some of their money. I don't know how that works, so.
Okay, so with the health department, their total, including claims, they may have enough for the claims portion, is $5,191.76. Do they have enough for all of that?
Who is that for?
Health department?
Oh, I mean, health has, they have a balance in their $24,000.
Oh, yeah.
They can pay their entire,
They're good.
they're way over.
And community corrections is $13,512.
So what's the
gonna be
total
right there?
amount?
Yeah,
Okay.
right there. but I
What's the
think that-
total amount we're putting forth to 17? Just the 27,000?
No, if we wait until 2017, the county portion is gonna probably be $100,000. So
With-
that's an extra
with the-
100,000 we're adding to next
Extra
year's
amount.
budget budgeted amount.
We just have to remember that, and if you would, make sure that we have those figures, and we'll report that to council, make sure that council knows. For next year, we're gonna have to make sure that, we make up for that.
Although, we didn't change.
But you're
it, right?
going-
So we're
really, you're
200,000
starting
we're saving on
in a
commissioners'
way
accounts,
red.
right? We didn't change anything.
Okay,
Okay.
but
That's what I-
you'll have to help me here. When the council did the budget for the insurance, did they take out the money they're saving on
That's what we were
people
just
like
talking
us?
about, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so they did take that out.
That's already out.
So it's
Well,
already out.
what,
The employer portion only comes down like a couple of bucks a person, so, for the employer cost.
Not that much.
well, it will be because of the trust account, the claims.
Well, if you take it
Yeah.
out of the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm talking about
No,
money coming
no.
in compared to what's going out.
right, right.
Okay.
So then did you decide if we, since we're only paying the administrative, not including the claims, for December, once we get into January, we've still got that figure, was that going to be paid out in next year's budget, or was that going to be coming out of the trust in the future?
That'd be something that they'd have to decide depending on the fund.
Well, it's all according to, we've got $185,000 in the trust right now. So we can
Claims
probably
aren't done.
use.
Correct. We
Yeah,
have to wait
claims
for the
are not
Claims
claims.
aren't done.
Yeah.
So I guess all I'm saying is, I don't know that we can make that decision right
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
until the end of the
Until
year,
we see it.
we won't know the
Yeah.
number.
I would hate to stick
Yeah.
my neck out and make a decision, not knowing where claims are gonna go.
And actually, really quick, while we have while we have you here, Vicky, you had that question about at the last meeting in regard to those individuals that were being grandfathered in with our new PTO policy. Vicky did send the email and I forwarded it to all of you, but if you wanted to talk about that really quick, they were paid out benefits, correct, when they left full-time and went part-time?
Yes.
Part-time, they were
I just want to
already
make
paid
sure
out.
you guys
Yes.
knew. So, because that was your question, Tom, at the last meeting.
If they had been paid once,
Yes.
why are they being paid twice? And if they were carryover, that was my question.
Well, they're not exactly being paid twice, they would be given the service time so that they would receive the benefit of the hours.
It's not a monetary thing,
Right.
okay?
So,
I mean,
Well-
like, if I have a previous 5 years of full-time service, and then I went part-time for 5 years, and then I go full-time again, those people were given that 5-year service time and automatically received the benefit of 3 weeks of paid vacation to take within that next year. That's how that was handled on there.
But if they were, and my point was, for 5 years full-time, 5 years part-time, and say they go another 5 years, should they receive the full 5 years for part-time to be included so that their
We never counted.
longevity pay should be 15 years instead of 10?
We never counted any part-time service either on vacation or on longevity. It was only the full-time years of service. Since they never left our employment, we gave them credit for all of the full-time service
Dave has to
years.
go clear back.
Right,
But no
I have no
part-time.
problem with that.
No part-time.
But now it will continue over, right? With this in the minutes, that part-time will be included into, I'm trying to get this longevity pay straightened out.
Okay. Part-timers aren't included in longevity, correct?
Correct.
No.
Never,
Yeah, part-time people aren't eligible for longevity.
okay. But that-
Longevity pay,
Pardon?
longevity pay. You're talking about PTO hours, part-time as.
No, I'm talking
okay.
about longevity
Okay.
like it was the last time.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we good?
Well,
Do
you
do
need a
Vicky any
motion
longer?
to take that out of your,
Why don't we go ahead and make a motion? We would.
so moved then. Do you want a dollar amount?
Well, we
Probably
can
should.
at this point.
We can, the highway one. If that's
Oh,
what
the
you should be.
27,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's make the motion.
$27,474.44 would be for the highway.
I make a motion that that be taken out of the trust fund to be paid in January, I guess.
Okay, we got a motion.
Really
Second.
shouldn't be making that motion.
We got a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
Thank you. And then Vicki, I'll get with you so that you can make sure that we have the correct number for county. Because like I said, Jan and I, when we did this figure, we didn't take out health, community corrections, and prosecutor.
I have to apply county employee deductions against the totals
Yeah.
to figures.
And I did get an official email from Brenda at Unified stating that this was acceptable and that they approved it. So that we can at least have that on file too, for you.
One thing we have to do is make sure that we, within our budget next year, have the ACA charges, if there are ACA
Yes,
charges.
if there are, yeah.
No, I think you have to assume there will be at this
Yeah,
point.
I would think
Yeah.
so.
You have to assume there will be
Yeah.
ACA charges.
Vicki, I've been here 16 years and I really don't quite understand how you keep all this straight. Between
It's
the
a
sheriff's, that's why you got a few gray hairs up here in front, but you do just a fabulous job on this payroll for us.
Thank you so
And
much.
I want to thank you for that.
Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Okay, minutes and claims. Has anybody had a chance to take a look at let's look at the minutes first. Any amendments, changes?
Read the minutes and I was so moved it be approved.
Second.
Got a motion, we got a second. Any further discussion?
PTO grandfathering.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same.
That's for the minutes, right? I'm sorry.
Pardon?
For the minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay.
When they're done.
For the being grandfathered in for the PTO time, you guys tabled that. Now Tom knows the answer. Do you want to make a motion on that? Because it was tabled till this meeting. Correct.
Turn across here because everybody can hear.
Okay, before we get into claims, Janet just brought up what Tom was talking about. We tabled that last time about, where is that?
It's on the, you're looking for the
It's
part-time.
under page.
Yeah.
It's on the page.
It's on the back of page 1.
That's right.
County coordinator down about 2/3 of the way.
Okay. So are you understand the part-time and the full-time on that then? Do we want to make a motion?
Well, if it's in the minutes, we're approving it. Right?
Well, it said that we're tabling that.
We tabled it. We're gonna discuss the part-time.
Yeah. Because we have 4 individuals that are going to be grandfathered in, and that's what was being tabled, was the approval of those 4.
Well, I'm so moved, that's enough.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion and a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Thank you.
Thank you.
That. Claims. Don?
George and I went through the claims on Friday, and I didn't find enough to make any notes. Did you make any notes? I didn't.
Yeah, the only thing I had was a redevelopment bill that was,
Oh, okay.
had been changed to,
Okay, okay.
from county general.
And with regard to claims, are we gonna stick with our policy we have had where the new commissioner does claims for 6 months just to get used to it?
I think we've set precedent on that.
Okay.
That's you.
Okay, payroll,
Sorry, I'll make a motion, we approve the claims.
okay.
Sorry.
Here.
Got a motion, got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Okay. Now, payroll.
I'll make a motion, we approve the payroll claims.
Got a motion? Got a second? Any further discussion?
No, I just don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it.
Because you said we need to. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same?
I promise I will get an answer on that and get back to you.
That would be great.
The important part is you get it in the minutes correctly,
Yes.
okay? That's the important part. Okay,
Anytime we can get more money, that's,
that's right, that's right.
Pam.
I had nothing, thank you.
Jana?
The only thing that
My bad.
The only thing that I had was, I told you and Dawn about it, but I want to make sure Tom knew. I did talk with Angie Hayden at Star, and she did confirm with John Lefevre that the use of Narcan will not affect our liability insurance. So we're good.
Thank you.
And that's all for me.
Tom?
Just a couple things. First, I'll go with council meeting on the 8th of November. They
Thanks
did
for doing
approve the carpet at Community Corrections. The old carpet that's be replaced has been taken up from the building. And they thought that was a good report, got back from the state inspector. I mentioned to him about the Narcan approval, that we okayed it for the county, dependent upon insurance, and insurance sees no problem. So I would guess that's on the way then of being finalized. That was about it, to the extent that I took the liberty of kind of refurbishing their memory that in 17, I could see major expenses they're going to have to look at for the jail, that they still have the bank loan that has to be paid or should be paid, plus the surprises that come along that you gentlemen and Tommy will face, and warn them about the Lloyd tax, that maybe instead of spending it for other, put it in the general, then they could spend it out of kind of how they would want to. They really, I don't think, understood the full ramifications of everything in the jail, and I don't really understand it. I still plan on taking the sheriff and Sean Keyman, jailer, over to Pierceton and show them that facility and what they might do with the showers so they don't have to continue to do that.
And I did talk to the sheriff on that, and they're, if that would make it better for them, they're fine with that. That's,
Okay. Community corrections today, we have 71 at the facility and 98 in jail. I was asked the other day by the new commissioner coming on about the importance at the commissioners meeting coming up for new commissioners, and I suggested that it'd be good for him to go, so he would like to go to that. This flag up here represents what I received in the mail from Perry Hammock, who's the executive director of the Indiana Bicentennial Commission. I received it in this nice stapled together envelope. And within there was
I see.
from the Office of Governor, a certificate.
Oh, yeah.
And here's the letter stating that December 11th, it's just a few days, a couple of weeks away, that this proclamation may be signed by the Commissioner Chairman. And I thought I'd bring that in so you can see we do have a sign out here. Coming back from lunch today, I did look at the flagpole on the courthouse, and it might be, if you so desire, with our Personnel Committee, that new flag, which the letter states was flowing over the State House. We don't know for how long, 3 seconds, 30, it doesn't look too dirty, it's still well pressed, so. But it flew over the State House, and maybe that we could find a place on the current flagpole, which is quite tall over there and would handle this, on that building. I don't know if it's legal to have two exact flags flying, but it's two different facilities, so. And we fly the US flag and the state flag, well, not over there, but here, so. Having said that, I guess that's my report.
Okay, and what we'll do is, if the commissioners are okay with that, our December 5th meeting, we'll do the proclamation.
Proclamation.
Okay, be good.
Hereby proclaim.
That's all I have. I'm proclaiming I'm done.
Commissioner?
All I had, he reminded me, I drove by Community Corrections the other day, and this is sort of solid waste. Remember how they didn't want us to they didn't want the mattresses? And I did see them, they're putting in dumpsters like they were asked. There was a dumpster there, and they're putting those mattresses in the dumpsters, so.
They also
So-
put the carpet in there. That's where that was, all carpet was put in.
Yeah, they started taking the
dumpsters.
carpet.
Good idea. And that's all I have.
They didn't take them
Happy
too long.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, Chief.
Yeah.
Turkey man.
I really didn't have anything. We went through the insurance. We went through everything that I had. Anything from the audience, Tom? Joanne? Motion?
So move.
Second. We
Someone
have
here
a-
from Post and Mail.
Oh, okay. We have a representative from the Post and Mail?
I'm Linda,
Oh.
Linda Thompson.
Okay.
Nice
I'm
to
sorry,
meet
last name, Linda?
you. Thompson, Thomson.
Nice to meet you.
Glad to have you.
Thanks.
College City native?
Related to Tim Thompson.
Tim? Oh, okay, I know Tim.
I used to work for the Post and Mail from home 4 years ago, but
Oh.
I'm out of the office, so it's a little bit different.
Okay.
I'll get used to it.
Okay, good.
Motion and a second.
Got a
I'm
motion
not
and a
sure.
second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Tommy, here's some papers for